Today is a great day, and do you know why that is? Because we're about to learn our very first Spanish verb. I'm pretty excited, just in case you couldn't tell, and since I know you guys are too, we're going to go ahead and get this lesson started. The verb that we are learning today is ser, and that is an irregular verb, and you should remember that that means that we are just going to have to memorize each individual conjugated form. And trust me when I say you are going to want to memorize this guy because it's a super common verb. In English, the equivalent is to be. Just stop and think for a moment about how much we use the verb to be in English, and we're going to use it just as much in Spanish. The verb ser is used in many different contexts in Spanish, but we're going to kind of start out with some baby steps today and just learn its present tense conjugation and one of the contexts in which it is used. The context that we're looking at today is to describe where somebody or something is from, and we can refer to that as origin. Now we're going to take a look at the conjugation chart, and these are the forms that you're going to want to memorize. If you remember from the lesson about subject pronouns, we are going to set up our chart as so, and each of the chart's boxes is going to relate to subject pronouns. On the left-hand side of our chart, we're going to go ahead and fill in those subject pronouns in their correct spots. We have yo, tú, él, ella, and usted. And then on the right-hand side, we have nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So now that we have our chart all set up and ready to go, we can go ahead and fill in the verb form that will correspond to each subject pronoun. So if we're trying to say I am, we are going to say yo soy. To say you are, you would say tú eres. Please remember that tú is the informal subject pronoun for you. As we discussed previously, the él, ella, and usted subject pronouns are all going to take the same verb conjugation. However, it's important to remember that the meanings of él and ella are very different from the meaning of usted. Él and ella are both talking about somebody. They mean he and she respectively. And usted is the way to say you when we are talking formally to somebody. And the conjugation that should be used with these three subject pronouns is es. So that means if we say él es, we are saying he is. Ella es would mean she is. And usted es would then mean you are when you are talking to somebody respectfully. Moving over to the plural side, for nosotros, we would use somos. That's the way to say we are. The vosotros form is sois. However, you do not need to worry too much about the vosotros form in our Spanish studies. You will want to know the conjugation for chart purposes, but other than that, we're pretty much not going to worry about it. And the final form we are going to need to learn is the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, which is son. Similarly to the third person singular side, this form also has, I would say, two distinct uses. If you are using ellos or ellas son, it would mean they are. And if it is ustedes son, it would be you guys are. The difference is whether you are talking about a group of multiple people or directly to a group of multiple people. So as I explained in the beginning of the video, the one use that we are going to learn today of the verb ser is to describe origin, or where the subject is from. The only thing we are going to need to do, in addition to using the appropriate form of the verb ser, is to combine it with the preposition de, which means from or of. I'm sure you guys all remember the question, ¿de dónde eres?, which means, where are you from? And now you should recognize that eres is the tú form of the verb ser. So you're obviously talking directly to somebody. That's where the you comes from. And de is the preposition from or of. So literally, it's from where are you? And that's because we cannot end a sentence or a question with a preposition in Spanish. Technically, that is also a rule in English. We're not supposed to end statements or questions with a preposition. However, we do it all the time anyway. Just in case you guys need some proof, here is an example that you might be familiar with.
It's peanut butter jelly time! Peanut butter jelly time! Peanut butter jelly time! Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go.
The word at, which is a preposition, is not grammatically correct to use at the end of a sentence. But as you can see, we break the rule very often in English. However, in the Spanish language, this is a rule that is always, always, always followed. You will never see this rule broken. And that is why when we see a preposition in a question, it's going to go at the very beginning, just like it is here. If you remember the question, ¿de dónde eres?, chances are you might also remember the way to respond to this, which is soy de followed by your origin. So an example would be yo soy de México, or I am from Mexico. Let's quickly take a look at some more examples. I have mi amigo Miguel es de Panamá. My friend Miguel is from Panama. La profesora de historia es de Inglaterra. The history teacher is from England. Los estudiantes nuevos son de Puerto Rico. The new students are from Puerto Rico. And one final example for today. ¿Eres de Florida? Are you from Florida? That is it for today's lesson. Don't forget to complete the activities that follow.